Hi, I'm Renee.
And I'm Nick.
And we're back with another Everyday Science video. It's winter here in Peoria.
And we have snow and salt all over the roads and sidewalks.
It really is salt. It's sodium chloride, the same stuff you put on your French fries.
So why do we put salt on the roads and where does it come from?
Let's go find out.
In the winter, it gets freezing cold outside.
When the air temperature drops below 32 degrees, water will start to freeze. The molecules of water slow down enough that they start to stick together, crystallizing just like a mineral.
And this is true of everything, by the way. If it were much, much colder, 297 degrees below zero, then the oxygen in the air would actually condense into liquid oxygen.
If it got even colder, 362 degrees below zero, the liquid oxygen would freeze into solid oxygen.
It's the shapes and sizes of the atoms and molecules in a substance that determine the temperatures when these phase changes happen.
All the frozen water, the snow and the ice, it's very beautiful, but it can be dangerous because it's slippery.
And the reason it's slippery is that there is a very thin layer of liquid water, the molecules on top, that can't get into the crystal structure. So it's that thin layer of water that makes the ice slippery and makes roads dangerous to drive on during the winter.
Pure water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But if you add salt, it takes colder temperatures to get the water to freeze.
That's because when salt is dissolved in the water, the sodium and chloride ions get in between some of the water molecules and prevent them from freezing, sticking together at 32 degrees.
The water molecules have to start moving even slower. The water has to get even colder then for it to freeze when you add salt.
Even more exotic salts like calcium chloride can be used to lower the freezing temperature of water even lower.
The city of Peoria puts calcium chloride on its salt that goes on city streets when temperatures reach below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It helps keep our streets safer at very cold temperatures. We're here at the Salt Storage Dome in Peoria. All of this you see behind me is salt. This is where the city stores its salt that it uses to treat the streets in the winter.
So when the forecast calls for snow, trucks can load up the salt and dump it on the roads, and that will actually lower the freezing temperature of the water to below 32 degrees. So you can de-ice the roads or prevent the ice from forming on the roads in the first place.
The city of Peoria takes some of the salt that we saw in the salt dome and mixes it with water to create a super saturated solution of brine.
This is because the only way to lower the freezing point is to have the salt in with liquid water. If you just have salt and ice next to each other, the salt doesn't actually get into the ice, and so the freezing point doesn't lower. So you need that salt water mixture in the brine. By the way, the salt you see all over the roads and sidewalks come from ancient lakes and oceans. As those oceans slowly evaporated, they deposited the salt.
A lot of salt is mined from those salt deposits, but some are visible on the surface. In the United States, you can see salt at the Bonneville Salt Flats near the Great Salt Lake in Utah.
And it's here where a capsule with pristine pieces of an asteroid from NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission is going to land on September 24th, 2023.
I hope you enjoyed going to the Salt Dome with us and learning about why we de-ice our roads with salt in the winter. Thank you, museum members and Visionary Society members, for supporting the Peoria Riverfront Museum. And thank you to Peoria Public Works.